Dr. Aronowitz, I'd like you to, if you can, if there is such a thing, tell me a little bit, what does a young mom or a dad, for that much, what can she do when a child grows up, starts teething? What should she do to make sure that down the road there is no 5-year orthodontic work to be done, so that it, that minimize the risk of having crooked teeth? Is there anything a mom can do while the child is growing up?
All right, Helmut, that's an excellent question, and I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, you have to guard against cavities. Cavities can result in early tooth loss, and if baby teeth, even baby teeth, are lost early, there's a chance that the adult teeth won't come in straight because there's too much room or not enough room for that. So all the things about not putting your child to bed with sugar, water in a bottle, or sweet juice has to really be listened to, because that's very important. And having your child see a dentist on a regular basis, and filling the small fillings before they get to be giant fillings where the tooth has to be lost. The other areas are thumb sucking and pacifier sucking. Pacifier sucking is a lot better than thumb sucking. So I would encourage parents, if their child needs to be sucking on something, to use a pacifier. And there are orthodontic pacifiers, which instead of being round as it goes through the teeth and the lips, it's flattened. And the first company that came out with that type of orthodontic pacifier is called Nook. That's capital N-U-K. Although a lot of companies are now mimicking that, and it should be a flat pacifier. If your child does suck their thumb, there are various methods of discouraging them from doing that, but it's really important that you have to wait, whether it's a pacifier sucker or a thumb sucker, until they're actually ready to give up the habit. So I would recommend that you talk to the child and say, well, as you grow up, you're going to be giving up this thumb sucking habit. You're not going to get married and still be sucking your thumb or using your pacifier. And the child will laugh and understand that that's the case. And you say that as you're getting to be a bigger boy or a bigger girl, you'll decide when that day should come that you should give it up. And mommy is ready to help you. And any dentist or orthodontist have all kinds of different methods that are not terribly traumatic, not traumatic at all, to gently get them out of the habit. And as my daughter did, when her daughter gave up her pacifier, she said, well, we're going to send all these pacifiers in the mail to children younger children who need pacifiers, who can't afford to have them. And they packed up all her pacifiers, put an address on it, actually mailed it to a friend of theirs, and went to the mailbox and did a little dance around the mailbox before they put it into the mailbox to mail the pacifiers to some child, to some needy child elsewhere. So the child feels good about growing up and good about helping some other small child, and they will avoid some orthodontic treatment that might not be necessary if they break that habit early enough.
Okay. Tell me, in the old days at least, like when I grew up, losing a baby tooth simply was not necessarily acted upon it. So there perhaps wasn't even put a filling in, it was just pulled out. In fact, I remember my dad pulling out at least one or two with a string, where mommy would sew and he just wrapped it around and yanked it out. Stuff like that. So now, I, somewhere along the line, didn't see any negative effects of it. I never needed braces. But I've heard that actually may be very dangerous, because the baby teeth apparently should be staying in a certain amount of time. There's a time for them to come out, and if they're staying in too long, that might not be good. If they come out too early, that might not be good. Shed some light on that, of what moms and dads should do there to prevent too fast or too long keeping the baby teeth. Too fast losing them.
Baby teeth are excellent natural space maintainers. They hold the space for the adult teeth. Each one of those baby teeth actually has an adult tooth underneath, waiting for their time to come to erupt into that spot. If the baby tooth doesn't fall out for any reason, then that adult tooth gets stuck underneath, and that's a problem. And that's kind of rare. More often than not, what happens is that the baby tooth is lost prematurely before the adult tooth is ready to come in, and the neighboring teeth around it kind of, especially if the child's mouth tends to be crowded, the neighboring teeth will kind of scoot into the space that's supposed to be reserved for a particular tooth, and that tooth again is going to be stuck or impacted because it has no place to go, and it might erupt on the outside of the rim of teeth, so it looks like a fang, or actually in the palate or under the tongue because it has no place else to go.
So it is important for a young person while the baby teeth are coming up to go to a dentist and make sure that the teeth stay in as long as they should, and at the same token a little bit less often, but still come out when it's supposed to come out. And a general dentist would take care of that, I assume. Or should a mom start going rather early also to an orthodontist to get a clear picture of it? What's the case there?
Well, we recommend that children should be seen by a dentist by 3 years old, and should probably be seen by an orthodontist by 7 years old. So in that period of time between 3 and 7, dentists are very, very well trained to monitor things like premature tooth loss and cavities and things of that nature. After 7, there's all kinds of changes of new teeth coming in and baby teeth falling out, and it actually gets quite complicated about what the child is supposed to look like. They sometimes look a little strange during that process or have difficulty chewing because they're missing teeth or the teeth are loose, and an orthodontist would be able to tell the parents whether this is a normal situation and just go back home and let this child grow up, or if there's something that needs to be done.
Got it. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Aronowitz.
You're welcome.